Hello everyone and welcome back to Stranglehold on the Xbox 360. I am One Wild Sheep yet again.
You called that hell?
It is just warming up.
Alright, now it's time to take on good old Vladimir here. And for the most part, this entire boss fight acts as a chase sequence. It's a lot different from what a lot of people would normally expect for this boss. At least it's a lot different from what I expected anyway. So yeah, for the most part, you're just going to be chasing him around this entire area. That basically is one big... It's basically one big map that we're chasing him around in. This is actually one of the multiplayer maps from what I remember, which is actually one of my favorite maps to play into because there's so much place you could duck and weave. I won't be showing off the multiplayer of this game, folks, because of two reasons. One, I don't have Xbox Live Gold anymore, and two, well, no one plays this online, unfortunately, these days. But one of the big, as with the previous stage, the biggest threat is the laser beams. You don't want to go near the laser beams. And after you do a certain amount of damage, Vladimir will move on to the next sequence of the map. So basically keep shooting at him when you see him, and eventually he's going to sort of tiptoe away. And honestly, I'm really tempted to just, every time he runs off in it, I'm really tempted to edit in the whoop, 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 whoop from Zoidberg, but I'll see how I feel after I'm done with the commentary, because this is a pretty lengthy part, if I remember. Actually, yeah, it's 21 minutes, pretty much on the dot, so yeah, it's a lengthy part. Anyway, it's a very wise thing to take cover and go through all the corners. And one thing that you can do is actually shoot these signs by here. These signs aren't shimmering, they aren't shimmering white, but you can shoot them and they will cause the signs to turn. And when the signs turn, the sides of them will actually flip into the lasers, causing the lasers to explode in a flurry of fire and death, which is all good for me. I like that. But anyway, just kill all the enemies you see in each sequence, and eventually the lasers will disable, allowing you to progress further. Unless it's an instance like that where you have to destroy the lasers using the signs, but, you know. Basically kill everything and eventually you'll make it through just fine, you know? Well, it's very wise not to go too fast in this sequence though, however, because... God, I'm out of ammo. Because if you go too fast in this sequence, basically what happens is you're gonna... Chances are you may run into a laser gate, because laser gates can basically pop up without a moment's notice. So you can quite easily get killed by tiptoeing poorly, you know. Like, there's actually one sequence coming up now where, when I was initially doing this, because I actually died to this boss fight once. Take that, table. I don't know why I kicked that table. But basically, I did a dive, you know, to slow down time and to take on the boss. However, I dove into lasers that weren't there yet. So when I was diving, halfway through the air, lasers spawned, and my initial reaction was like, oh, bother. You know, the most nonchalant reaction to diving into an explosive laser beam, you know, no, oh bother. Oh well. I appear to be in quite a pickle. But anyway, just keep rinsing and repeating, doing the same thing as you have been all the way through the previous stage. It's not really much to say. Of course, he does keep throwing waves and waves of enemies at you, and don't worry, folks, we aren't going to be completely going through the sequence over and over again, chasing him, because there is a point where where this will end, and basically when this ends, the real boss fight happens. This isn't exactly what I consider a real part of the boss fight because of, well, it's just, I consider this the pre-boss, you know, and the real boss fight goes on for a while if you don't know how to take him on. Fortunately, I know how to take him on, and it still goes on for like a minute or two, and did the enemy just suicide? Not that I'm complaining, mind you, but I'm just not expecting that. Anyway, I just kind of ignored the laser gates we went past a minute ago. Basically, those laser gates will turn off and on again. Obviously, go through them when they're off. Don't go through them when they're on. Otherwise, you're gonna die. And dying's no good. Never expected to do my Sonic voice while in this part either, but yeah, them's the breaks. Although, as time goes on in this game, you're actually going to run into more and more sequences where... Actually, first things first, gotta do one of these shootouts. You're going to run into more and more sequences where the frame rate will dip a bit. It's... For the most part, the frame rate is pretty fine. And when you're playing, you don't really notice... You don't notice the frame rate drop, but in playback, you might notice it a tad, so... You know. That's kind of the same in most mid-gen, mid-budget Xbox games, really. It's not many last-gen games I know of that stuck at 60 FPS. Anyway, now, we're on the proper official boss fight of the stage. And what he's basically going to do is, well, obviously he's in a helicopter, he's going to shoot at you from the helicopter. And he's got a rocket launcher to boot. So basically what I advise is whenever the helicopter's basically coming around, stay behind one of these columns. Whenever he shoots a rocket launcher, stay behind one of these columns. After a short while, the column will get destroyed, which means you'll basically have to run for your life. And for the first part, waste all of your ammo shooting him. Use your ammo up shooting him as much as you can. After a short amount of time you run out of ammo, this is when I recommend running all the way up to the top of here and going straight to this side, because there's actually an item you can pick up, the light machine gun. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the single most powerful weapon in the entire game. Stronger than rocket launcher? Well, actually it might be weaker than rocket launcher, but it's more useful. And basically, just go into barrage mode and walk up to the window in barrage mode and just wail on him. LMG is insanely powerful, and I just advise making use of it, you know? And there's also plenty of cranes around the arena, just in case you need to refill up your, you know, your thingy, in case you need to refill your tequila bomb gauge. But slowing down time makes it much easier to aim, and for the most part, it's simple, it's easy. I do like this boss fight though. It's a lot more challenging than I'm actually making it look. Trust me, it took me like 5 tries. So just keep dodging all the missiles, keep dodging all the gunfire, and eventually he will go down. But yeah, without using this light machine gun, I'm convinced that it's impossible. You need this light machine gun to beat him. So yeah, pick it up, and there we go. And Jesus Christ. You could say he just got grounded. Yeah! I'm so... I don't know.
Ever been shot? It ain't any fun.
I hear you did some talking.
He said his next one was my head. Found these invitations in one of the rooms. We'd better check it out.
You take care of the arm. I'll handle the museum on my own.
Something is afoot with that character, but I can't quite pin what seems off about him. I don't know, something, he just seems so shady. Nah, it could be just me being paranoid, you know, yeah, I'm pretty paranoid. That's it, that's the problem. God, this is a long load time. They're not usually this long. I don't know what takes this one so long, but, yeah, I don't know.
That cop is here because of you. My brother's blood is on your hands.
Everyone has a destiny, Damon. Even you and I. Your brother found his. Now move on. Let's get these girls back to Hong Kong and finish this deal.
Take the young one back and keep her safe. If you can handle that, I'll bring Billy back with me.
Like hell you will.
We do this my way or it all ends right here. Right here. Your call.
Suit yourself.
Party's over. Time to go.
Tequila.
It's time to get our shooting on. Now welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the museum. And that giant lion statue right next to us, I am convinced that's just stolen from Trafalgar Square. Some supervillain's gone to Trafalgar Square in London and stole that lion statue. I am convinced. I don't care what anyone says. It could be a replica. I don't care. It's the same thing. A supervillain stole it. But this is one of my favorite missions in the game, actually, just because of the aesthetics. I mean, we're inside a museum. I mean, the interesting stuff that can be done, you know, you can have giant dinosaur skeletons that can explode and crumble apart. You can have beautiful Greek architecture. But it's not really Greek, but these pillars remind me of Greek architecture anyway. That we can just nuke and... I don't know, this is just one of my favorite stages in terms of fulfilling my destruction appetite, if you will, because everything just crumbles, and if I do say so myself, that was a fantastic shot. I'm so proud of that. Yeah, I'm actually doing I'm not doing that bad in terms of aiming, considering the fact I'm not really used to playing Xbox shooters that much. I mean, I have plenty of shooters on the Xbox, but most of the time I go to PC to play them, with the exception of like Halo, which is not really on PC. Well, Halo 1 and 2 are on PC, but I never get to play those on the PC version, primarily because Halo 1 is a bit dodgy on my computer. I don't know, my computer really doesn't like it. For some reason, the game thinks that I don't have any RAM installed on my PC, which is weird, because I have 8 gigs of the stuff, but I don't know. And Halo 2... I don't think it was the best port in the world, so I usually stick to the console version for that. Especially now the Master Chief Collection is out and the game's basically run perfectly. And look nicer too. Unless you're playing it online, then the games don't run very well at all. So yeah. Basically, the simple thing is, if you want to play Halo online, don't play the Master Chief Collection. It's naff. But if you want to play the campaigns, the Master Chief Collection does a good job of the campaigns. But anyway, back to Stranglehold, like I said, whenever you melee people as well, it's an automatic action that Tequila does if you have a gun. You melee them. It doesn't use any action. You know, it doesn't use ammo, basically, if you're close enough to the enemy. But the problem is, you can't hit it off manually, and it really bugs me that you can't do that. I don't know, I think I might be the only one with that, but it really bugs me you can't do it. And also in this mission, we're going to be getting hold of a brand new item. One of the most useless in the game. Because you might be wondering, ladies and gentlemen, where's the grenades at? Because this is an action game involving guns and whatnot, and normally they have grenades in these sort of games, don't they? Yeah, well, we're about to get a grenade, and needless to say, it's... The game doesn't even tell you how to use grenades. I had to actually try and find a certain button when I've learnt that I actually can get grenades in this. I think it's the B button to throw grenades. I could be wrong. We don't have any at the minute, but we'll see. We'll basically see them, I think, right underneath the ammo count. I think. And I do try to make use of them quite a bit in this mission. Well, once or twice in this mission where you do pick them up, but later down the line I just completely neglect the things, because honestly, they're useless. Grenades are hopeless. They are. I don't know what they did. It's like the only game where grenades don't have a use at all. I mean, it's amazing when you do actually get a direct hit with a grenade, because you throw a grenade, if it hits something, it'll pretty much explode instantaneously. And if it lands on an enemy and explodes the enemy, there's no better joy than seeing the enemy just go into a cloud of blood and dust, and oh, it makes me feel all tingly inside. I went a bit Dr. Robotnik then from Sonic Sad AM. Snivelly, I hate that hedgehog. Bring me my soup. Bring me my soup. I don't know where I'm going with this. But yeah, like I said, this is one of my favorite stages in the game, just in terms of aesthetics. Especially this room by here. Oh no! And yeah, dinosaurs. So what can we do? Well, we can actually use the dinosaurs as we can use the dinosaurs as projectiles. Good going, grammar. That's not even grammar. Good going, vocabulary. Basically, if you shoot the dinosaur in certain parts, you'll be able to actually ride the dinosaur. You'll be able to jump on their backs. You can use their bones as a way to get a good vantage point and head up to the second floor onwards and just take out the enemy. I don't know. I just love the fact that I just love it. You know, it's such a cool idea. Jurassic Park, eat your heart out, eat your world out. I know why I said that. It's because there's a new Jurassic Park movie coming out at the time of this recording called Jurassic World, and that looks quite good, starring Chris Pratt, and I might check that out when it comes out. But back to this game anyway. This room by here is kind of like the gauntlet rooms in about a mission or two ago, where we had to basically go through a hotel. We need to kill all the enemies that spawn in order to progress, you know, as simple as that. Although one thing I do recommend is probably using the spin, because the spin attack, well, it can clear out waves of enemies pretty quickly. Unfortunately, it does use up all your tequila bombs, so I advise using it at certain points, but don't go overboard, you know. Use it somewhat sparingly, but not too sparingly. If that makes any sense to you. If it does, you have a greater mind than me, because I'm sort of just rambling at this point. Still, I just love these walls, and that wall over there as well. I just walked past to my, well, right by that dinosaur. I don't think you can destroy it, but there's a wall kind of similar to it later on. You can actually crumble, and you can sort of get the advantage of certain goons later on just by shooting through the wall and be like, ah, hey, you're on the other side. Well, eat bullets, fiend. Eat bullets, fiend. But yeah, that's all there is to this mission, you know. Just keep killing all the enemies until the doorway opens up, and much like when I was talking about the turret section way back in like the third part, the game has a major issue with pacing. That's the biggest flaw with this game. It was the pacing. Things go on for too long. If this mission was condensed into like half its size, not only would I not struggle to come up with commentary, but I would also be, you know, I wouldn't get so bored playing it, because as chaotic as the game is, doing the same thing for so long is not a good thing in any game, you know? I don't care if we're playing Sonic the Hedgehog, Super Mario, F-Zero, anything, well, yeah, I don't care what game you're playing. If you're doing the same thing and the maps are similarly designed, because let's face it, the maps are very similarly designed, and you're usually stuck in one area doing the same thing over and over, and it just kind of bugs me. I still love this game though. Like I said, I really do think this is an underrated gem, and that's like the only time I make good use of the grenades. Like I said, the game doesn't give you any indication that you picked any up. I only knew I had grenades because I just saw a glance at the bomb right to the screen, and I was like, oh, grenade icons. Okay. I don't even know what enemies drop them. They just sort of pop up. But like I said, as useless as the grenades are, there's no better feeling than just hitting someone dead on with it. It really isn't. You just see them explode and you're just thinking to yourself, yeah, I did that. Motherfucker's gonna mess with Tequila? Me don't think so, son. I'm a strong alcoholic beverage. Larry, Jesus Christ, you could have just opened the door, guys. There's no need to blow it up. Christ, that's taking things a bit too far, you know? But anyway, the door's open, so now we can actually progress and continue moving on with the rest of the museum. And this museum level does become one of the hardest levels in the game later on in the second half. This first half is pretty much exactly as we expect most missions to be at this point, you know. Nothing's much different now than it has been throughout the rest of the game, but the second half, you're going to come across some very annoying goons that have armor. They're kind of like Spetsnaz enemies, you know, they're kind of annoying. And that's why I don't use the grenades much. It takes so long to explode. But anyway, folks, that is it for this part. So thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Don't be sheepish, people. And when we return next time, we'll be finishing off the museum level. Or at least going through more of it. I can't remember if we finished it next part of the part after. But we'll be doing more museum nonetheless. So thanks for watching, people. I'll see you after. Bye!